6:07. Oh, there's Zoom user.
Kara, hold on one second, please.
It's got to be Michelle, I would assume.
Who's controlling the entry into the meeting? Is it? Okay, only because we had that issue last time sometimes.
I will act as an ex officio member. We have Louisa, Al, and myself, so that's 3 of us. And our first order of business is to select a committee chair. I'll open the floor for nominations. You're on mute, Al.
I would like to make a motion that Louisa Britton, Mrs. Britton, for the position of chair, sites and facilities.
Second.
Oh, seconded by Michelle. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, Louisa.
Thank you.
I will turn it over to you.
Okay, well, this is my first time, so please bear with me. This was unexpected tonight, so thank you so much for putting this much confidence in me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And we're
Okay.
here to support you, so.
Thank you. So you're getting a text from me when the meeting is over. We'll be
Go
talking
through
about
the
it.
agenda. I'll take
Absolutely.
notes.
Absolutely. So let's go. First order is tonight. Mr. Walston?
Oh, I'm sorry, Lisa. Thank you. I was delayed on my side.
That's okay.
So good evening, everyone, and congratulations on the appointment. I will share my screen so everyone can see the agenda. We have Dr. Mike Seelig here this evening, Dr. Casimiro, Rich Jalbert, John Spang, Dr. Ann Mead on the call. And then specifically for this committee, Mike and Rich will be working with me in terms of providing updates. And then we may need John's expertise, maybe not for this meeting, but certainly subsequent meetings. So this evening, I want to, and you'll note, let me share the screen. We have a lot of updates to provide the board. I wanted to find an opportunity to give a broad overview of the various projects that are going on in the district to the board. And then in our subsequent meetings, we'll be able to provide a little bit more detail. In addition, there's been a lot of work happenings going into this summer to get our schools open. And so Rich Jalbert has an update for us as well. So let me just start with update and discussion. Beaverbrook Admin Center office space. Wanted to make the board aware we are, and I don't believe Eduardo Miranda is with us right at this moment, but we are paying a significant, we are leasing a number of different facilities across the Danbury community. Kara's curriculum group, of course, is on Beaverbrook Road across the street. Beaverbrook office is at 63 Beaverbrook. And then most recently, we have a facilities department right down the road, also on Beaverbrook, all in separate buildings. In many cases, certainly to facilities, requires driving back and forth. Then a curriculum office, certainly not an efficient way of doing business. They are across the street. The board and the community might also be aware that we lease space currently for our Reach and Endeavor program in adult ed. And then, of course, we're also leasing, I want to say it's Sacred Heart, where our registration and early childhood classes are taking place. And so we have a number of different leases that the district is paying for right now. Of course, this does not include the Granville site where our pre-K programs are at the moment. And so I'm not including that as part of this discussion. But we are beginning to see if there's an opportunity for space where there could be significant savings for the district. See if we can find a space that not to mention more efficient for us as an administrative team, but see if we can find a leasing space that makes more sense just in terms of efficiency and productivity, but also financial sense. And we're exploring those things now through our finance office and exploring to see what the options are out in the Danbury community. And so we haven't found anything concrete to report out, but as part of this discovery, we just wanted to make the board aware and see if there is something that is viable enough for us to even have a worthwhile discussion about. And so in subsequent meetings, we'd like to provide some more real numbers for what we're paying and then what kind of the options are out in the community. The second one, and I provided this update last night, the Brookfield site, Danbury Primary School in Brookfield. For our new board members, specifically, you may or may not be aware, we removed 11 sections out of our elementary schools, 3 from South Street, kindergarten sections, 4 from Stadley Ruff, and then 4 also from Ellsworth Elementary School. And this was in our effort to provide social distancing, maximize the social distancing opportunities in our respective schools. We found like this would be a good strategy in that effort. Given that Ellsworth at this time, and I'll be able to speak to that in a couple of more bullets later, but the Ellsworth Elementary School is currently under construction to have 4 additional classrooms specifically for kindergarten to open up space at that campus. And while they were under construction and that facility was actually compromised in terms of space, its playground space compromised in the beginning of the year, cafeteria space, although that was eventually open, but the outside space was compromised. And Ellsworth probably has the smallest cafeteria in the district. And so many members, and certainly Rich Jalbert on this call, Kara also was part of these visits. We eventually led at the Brookfield site, which we renamed Danbury Primary School. Certainly, we made significant investments in the site. In subsequent meeting, I'd like some help from John in my finance office to provide some updates on what the actuals were in terms of upgrades that we made to the site, and then also the projected upgrades we would need to keep that site open. Not to mention the additional transportation costs and the kindergarten, the aids on the buses for the kindergarten students, which was north of $300,000 alone just for that investment. So we've decided at this time to come out of that lease of the facility and begin to get our teachers, those 11 sections of kindergarten, back in their home schools for the 22-23 school year. The next area, and I think the ones I think the board is going to be really excited about, Antonio from the Director of Facilities from the City of Danbury has agreed to join us, Sites and Facilities Committee, for the next meeting to provide an update on these last 3 bullets. One, the Danbury Career Academy. I don't believe this committee, certainly not the full board, has seen the plans and the designs, which the city has, starting to get feedback on the designs for the Career Academy. And Kara certainly, I think, coupled with getting feedback from Karen around the vision regarding the Career Academy in terms of academic programming, and then tied with or coupled with the designs of the school and the blueprints of the school, I think is going to be an exciting evening for us. There were some challenges because at the state office, there was a change in leadership, which potentially could have certainly stalled the project or potentially compromised the project. I'm happy to report through the leadership of our mayor's office, we were able to meet with the state finance group and able to move this work forward. and most recently, I think there was an approval by the zoning committee. So it looks like we're all, things are still moving forward with the Danbury Career Academy. Still a couple more hoops that needs to be jumped through, and Antonio will walk us through some of those kind of next steps, because there are some changes not changes to the design, but changes to the project in terms of cost. And so we'll be talking about those things at the next meeting. The Ellsworth Annex, Ellsworth Elementary School, we've added 4 kindergarten classrooms. In addition, we'll have a new registration center associated with those kindergarten classrooms. And I believe it's 3 or 4 early childhood classrooms as well. So we're really excited about what's going to be, an amazing design and welcoming center for new families coming into the district, as well as making sure we have an appropriate classes for Ellsworth that continues to be one of our elementary school that has grown faster than, at least in the short time I've been here, has grown as fast as any elementary school in the district. And I think appropriately, we were able to add 4 additional classrooms to that school. And then last but not least, and I'm not even sure if, Rachel, you remember, and some of our other sitting board members recall, but at the same time we were moving forward with the Ellsworth project and the Danbury Career Academy, there was also talk about Great Plain Elementary School, and potentially adding additional classrooms to that site. And at that time, that plan was parked. It was not part of the bigger project with Ellsworth and Danbury Career Academy. But it sounds like, not that there's necessarily a definitive plan, but certainly an update that's necessary to provide the board regarding the plan, where we can potentially add more classrooms to the Great Plain Elementary School campus, which would certainly relieve some of the tension across some of our other elementary schools across the district. And then, Rich, you have your PowerPoint that you're going to share the screen.
Yes, let me see if I can share that.
And Louisa, if it's okay, Rich's presentation is not too long. And if we can then end there, and because I would imagine there might be some questions, and open it up for discussion, assuming the committee will have some questions.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Okay, can everybody see the facilities projects? Great. So this is work that some of the work we've done this summer, other work we've done during whatever shutdown periods. We created a quarantine room in King Street Intermediate. That freed up an additional office space that they needed. We installed a wall at King Street Intermediate to separate the media center from the classroom space and give a little privacy to the classroom. We painted the Pembroke gym over the summer, which was well overdue. There was some significant rust and water stains on the ceiling from before the Pembroke roof was replaced. So we were able to take care of that. There's a picture in this presentation which shows how nice it looks. One of our mitigation strategies was distancing of desks. So as a result, we needed to remove 3 knee walls at Stadley Rough so we could space out the desks a little bit more. And there was some cabinets at Park Avenue that we also had to pull out. And we were able to repurpose those knee walls and cabinets to put them in other places where it wouldn't affect the spreading out of desks. We also installed an ADA accessible sidewalk at HAYESTOWN Elementary School. For those of you that have seen that sidewalk, it was treacherous the past few years, so it was nice to get that done. We also at Pembroke School created office space between 2 classrooms. This was just right during the holiday vacation. We did that. Just You know, there's a picture on the left of the painting of the Pembroke gym, and then on the right, the HAYESTOWN sidewalk. We have a wheelchair student at HAYESTOWN. So there was really no good way for the building to the lower. So now they have a nice sidewalk, and we're in discussion with public buildings to see if we can get an elevator in HAYESTOWN as well, which really would make a difference. Security updates. We installed 2 additional cameras and 1 additional card reader at Millridge Primary. The video recording device was replaced at Stadley Ruff. That broke down, and then we also added a camera. We installed a burglar alarm at the Sites and Facilities warehouse. We've also added card access at the boardroom entrance, so we can control security a little bit better when we start to have visitors for public meetings. We installed 2 additional card readers at Great Plains School. And we're also converting to a Vigilon camera system at Ellsworth School and the Magnet School. This Vigilon camera system, it has some pretty good features. It makes it easier if you're going back to track an event to try to find that. We're also installing additional cameras at Morris Street. Public building improvements. Public Works, they've got quite a bit of work done for us this school year. They replaced the front entrance doors at Rogers Park. Elevators at Broadview Middle School and 2 elevators at the high school have been replaced, C building and E building. They're just finishing up the D elevator replacement, and it should be scheduled for completion by the end of this month. I think they're just waiting for the state inspection. They've replaced 3 water heaters at the high school and 2 water heaters at Broadview Middle School. Looking to this summer, they're also replacing oil tanks. They're going to go with above ground oil tanks at Broadview Middle School, Rogers Park Middle School, King Street Intermediate, and King Street Primary. And they're also getting a quote to replace the elevator at Rogers Park. So after this, we should be pretty good with elevators. I had a chance to speak to the construction superintendent this week, Tom Hughes, just to give updates on the progress of Ellsworth Annex. Ductwork is being hung for the HVAC systems. The fire system piping has been run. Electrical is roughed in and near completion. Same thing for the plumbing, that's near completion. Stationary windows have been installed on the 2nd floor. The 1st floor windows are probably about 2 weeks out with delivery. And I think they were pretty smart with this project. All the electrical and security equipment were purchased months ago to manage the supply chain issue. I think Tom was saying they ordered a lot of this in July and August, so we could get it ready for the start of this coming school year. Furniture is expected to arrive by the 2nd or 3rd week of August. The one thing that they're recommending is no summer school at Ellsworth this summer because they still have work to do on the grounds and in the mechanic room. So that was the recommendation. Maybe we could find a alternate school for one more summer. And that's what all I have. Are there any questions?
Rich, thank you. And I don't know if the committee has any questions, but I certainly do, because I I am wondering how you got all of this done this summer. Um, because I remember calling you almost every day on your way home to Bristol every day. And I just want to thank you for helping us get our schools open this summer, and thank you and your team for all of your hard work. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Now I need to figure out how to unshare my screen, I guess.
There's a button that you go right back to that green button, Rich. You should be able to.
Okay.
Should say stop sharing,
In the middle, that red bar.
right at the top.
Somehow, okay, I gotta. So,
Like where it says you are viewing, and then there should be a red bar up there.
oh, got it. Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. So, Louisa, that is that is it for the presentation. However, I do also understand that there may be some questions. I could put the agenda back up just in case there are. But that is it in terms of the update.
Okay, does anybody have any questions?
Kevin, if I may, one quick one.
Absolutely.
The expansion to Great Plain, where did the funding come for that?
Right. So Antonio will be able to speak to this better than I can. But apparently there is construction money available to help fund this. I don't know the specifics, Mr. Russo. I can tell you we don't have it. But it's probably best to come from Antonio to speak to where the funding would be to fund that effort.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
As you can tell, I'm having difficulties with my video.
Same here. Same here. So and while everyone is thinking about any follow-up questions, again, just a reminder, these last three will be the focus for our meeting with Antonio next week. I believe our city architect, I think Dan's architect on behalf, or city engineer, Dan Petrovich, I think is also joining the meeting. But the Danbury Career Academy is very exciting. They're prepared to show those plans electronically. So we'll be sharing them on the screen. Also some of the designs as well. Typically when any of our principals, their school is under construction or they're opening up a new school, the principals play a major role in the planning and design of the building. And this one has been really exciting because Kara and Dan, their fingerprints are all over this building. And so, Kara, from the perspective of helping to ensure alignment with the academies that her, Melissa, and Trish, and our curriculum team has helped to put together, just in terms of academic experience for kids. And then as a principal, Dan just making sure it's meeting the needs of all of his kids and his staff. And so it's been a great collaborative process. Antonio has been an amazing facilitator, also working with our architect as well, Glenn Yakel, who has worked on some projects here before. The team has already done some amazing work, and we're looking forward, quite frankly, to energizing not only this committee, but our board and the greater Danbury community, so we can begin to communicate the great things that are going on around this project and what it's going to mean for kids and families in our school district. Then, of course, the Ellsworth Annex, Antonio will be providing an update there as well. I don't think, I know that the full board has not seen it, but I'm not sure the sitting board members had seen the design. And so I'm hoping Antonio can also have some designs for the Ellsworth Annex project as well. Again, the expectation is they're projected to open as scheduled. If you have driven down Osborne Street recently, You continue to make projects, you go by progress at the site. And every month, that I drive by there, that, something new and development is coming along. And given all of the progress at the site, if I don't know where we're going to go, Rich, for summer school, if we have to go somewhere else. But I think we can figure it out for one summer, given all of the progress. And if that means we can open the doors for everyone in September. And last but not least, the Great Plain Elementary School conversation in terms of expansion. I think getting some clarification on funding, Mr. Russo, is a great question. But just in terms of options and providing additional space for elementary classrooms across the district, I think this is a great conversation for us to have as we continue to experience growth across all of our schools. So again, that's it for me in terms of the agenda. But if there are any questions, or discussion, I'm happy to join in or answer them if I can.
Yes, Kevin, actually, thank you. I think once I get familiar with a lot of the plans and the projects that are going on, I'll have more questions. So if they could provide that, that would be a huge help for me, so I can kind of get familiar with those, the Ellsworth and the Danbury Career Academy in particular would be great.
Okay, and I will, I believe it's going to be Mike Seelig who's going to be the point person for this committee. So typically, Louisa, we would want to speak to you prior as we develop the agenda and make sure you have kind of a heads up going into the meeting, and make sure collaboratively we can develop an agenda that meets you and the committee's needs, and so that we can communicate appropriately. So we'll make sure that you have that backup going into the meeting.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
When is the next meeting? You mentioned something next week.
No, I believe
Oh.
it's on the schedule for later in February.
February 17th.
17th, yes, that sounds
Okay.
right. Yes.
So that would be the next meeting where Antonio will be,
Yes,
okay, updating us. Great.
yes. Okay, that is it for me, for our report and update.
All right. If nobody else has any questions, we'll get a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
Okay. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.